Alex Jones here, covering one of the most important stories in all of human history. You know that in the last 70 years, our world has developed atomic weapons and then hydrogen weapons, nuclear power. But another technology just as dangerous, perhaps even more so, is genetic engineering biological weapons. And we're told constantly that we need to give up our rights because terrorists with box cutters might attack us. And I've talked about the statistics where you have a better chance of dying from a dog attack or deer jumping out in front of you or champagne cork than by being killed by a terrorist. Scientific American and others have broken it down. But in a film that I'm going to release, a 40-minute documentary in the next 4 or 5 days here at Infowars.com, free to the world, and I'll be announcing the title and more in the future, I break down the real threats to humanity, namely democide. Who's proven that they'll kill the population in mass? Government. 260 plus million according to major university studies here in the United States alone. Similar foreign studies show that number. Democide, a term that most of us never heard of. We're taught to fear the Al-Qaeda terrorists who happen to be run by the big mega banks. But the point is that the establishment, I've talked a lot about this, but now they've made the decision to go ahead with it, so that's why we're here covering it again. The establishment has made the decision to go ahead and publish the results of weaponized bird flu, which would kill conservatively hundreds of millions, some analysts believe even billions, if it was released. And of course, 6 years ago, governments in the US and Australia released the recipe to make a mousepox for humans that with a few $100,000 any biologist, genetic engineer could produce. And it kills over 90% of the mammals. In fact, in some studies, 98, 99% of the mammals it comes in contact with when it's tailored for that mammal. That's 9 out of 10 people on your block dead. If there's 10 people in your family, that's 9 of them dead on average. That's 9 out of 10 cops dead, 9 out of 10 doctors dead. It's basically an end of civilization as we know it type scenario. And here's the other big problem. On top of this, we have the elite building giant underground bunkers. That's declassified. Details, though, are still classified. We've got them building giant seed vaults at the Arctic Circle and other areas under guard. Genetic arcs of all the eggs and sperm of all the major mammals and many other species. All over the world. This is in the news, and it's the very elite who are into eugenics and who publicly fantasize about reducing the world's population by 80, 90, or even more percentage points, and this new golden age that would come, and who fantasize about how the Black Plague killed roughly a third to half of Europe, they estimate, and how a great renaissance came after that. Well, that was because the elite were knocked out, and feudalism and that stagnant system got kind of shut down for a while. But that's real history. They fantasize, going back to Malthus, 200 plus years ago, about how great mass population reduction would be. And they're making all the preparations for it while hyping it and putting out books and videos promoting the end of humanity, the end of civilization, how great the world would be without us. So they're even creating a kind of a pre-nostalgia ahead of all this, kind of a psychological memory or self-fulfilling prophecy where people are prepared for it. And so they're making weaponized airborne Ebola. What a horrible way to go. They kill over 90% of people. Weaponized different types of flus, bird flu, you name it, swine flu. The system is coming out with all of this garbage and now releasing the ingredients, the recipe, how to make weaponized bird flu that actually is airborne and kills humans en masse. And they're storing these at over 200 facilities, all these different nauseous compounds, in level 2 labs instead of level 4 labs that are underground and guarded and vacuum sealed. This stuff's being stored in places where you swipe a card, a glass door opens, and you wear a mask. And I guess they're creating the idea of plausible deniability when they release it, or they're hoping it accidentally gets released, while pushing a medical tyranny to take their deadly vaccines for a regular swine flu or bird flu that they even admit today statistically isn't even very dangerous compared to the regular flu. That's in the news today. Look it up. Just Google or search engine H1N1, they're going, wow, it really wasn't dangerous like we told you 3 years ago. But the shot itself reduces your immune system by 50% the next year when you come in contact with regular flu. Major Canadian government study from 3 years ago. So this is the real thing threatening us. These elites are crazy. They're endangering themselves with the super weapons, the neutron bombs. They're working on antimatter weapons, the San Francisco Chronicle's reporting, the Hadron Collider. All of this, all these super technologies And these guys are acting like it's no big deal and fantasizing about the Earth without humans on it. This is a big issue that they have announced they're going to go ahead and release. New York Times reported last Friday, it's in the Associated Press today, that they're going to go ahead and just release how to make this super weaponized bird flu. It's just incredibly reckless, and it's all in the name of defending against it. So they get around the biological weapons treaties by calling all this defense, but even mainstream media admits it's really offensive. All right, that's it. I'm Alex Jones reporting from the front lines of the InfoWar, Infowars.com. Mike Adams is doing the radio show today. I'll be back on the radio tomorrow, Tuesday. Please spread the word about this important subject. I'll be covering it on the air and right here on our news sites, Infowars.com. I know the nightly news tonight that's on 7 o'clock Central will also be covering this incredible issue. Thank you for watching. Let's alert humanity to this most dangerous of threats.